Yo, what the hell's up? Welcome back to Reviews with Jake, where I just got back from seeing The Call of the Wild. This is yet another film adaptation of the classic story by Jack London, which features, we'll call, a seasoned dog and man who travel out into the wilderness to escape civilization and become, well, one with the wild. I skipped shaving for a whole week just for this video. That's how committed I am. Although you probably can't really tell. I don't know, they CGI'd a whole dog in this movie. Maybe they can just give me a little bit more beard. It's all hair. I'd imagine the render times are similar. On that note, it seemed like a movie that was right up my lane. I never read the original novel, but I love the wilderness. I love dogs, I have 3. And I love a grumpy Harrison Ford. However, I wasn't really that excited for this movie because I was off-put about this CGI dog. Why did they have to CGI a dog? It's not a freaking dragon. Dogs exist. Aren't there enough trained dogs in Hollywood? I've seen a few. And if you absolutely need to go the CGI route, why does it look so bad? I know the technology exists nowadays to make CGI animals look good. Jungle Book, Lion King, hell, one of the trailers that was featured before this movie was Peter Rabbit 2. I mean, if you told me that was better animal CGI, I don't know if I would necessarily agree with you, but I wouldn't call you crazy. So I went into this movie, we'll call cautiously optimistic. And I gotta say that this movie had a lot of heart to it. I actually enjoyed it for the most part. It's one of those movies that certainly mastered what we'll call dog-isms, where people that own dogs will look at it and some like the tendencies of the dog, and I enjoyed a lot of that. Like I said, I have 3 dogs, so when I saw a lot of these dog-isms happening, I was like, oh, there it is. And even outside of the animal we'll call performances, a lot of the humans were good, especially Harrison Ford and Omar Sy. Both of them were very endearing, relatable characters. They were very different from each other, but I kind of related to both. And there were also a good handful of impressive landscape sequences, as you'd anticipate from a movie called The Call of the Wild, set in the Yukon. And it also handled a lot of really heavy subject matter. I mean, stuff that I was looking at like, that's in a kid's movie? I'll be honest, when I look at the story of a movie, I assess it on the fact that it made me feel something. And this movie did. I got choked up at moments. For the most part, this was a good story. However, the CGI, very distracting. Not only on the main dog, but they CGI'd damn near every animal in this movie. And as mentioned before, not the good kind of CGI. The CGI animals just did not look well with the real-world live-action environments. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand why they went the CGI dog route in retrospect after watching it. I mean, this dog was essentially human with some of the things that it did. And if they somehow managed to get a real dog to do these things, that dog would be up for an Oscar. But even while I understand it, it just didn't look real. And it wasn't only the animals that felt fake. A lot of the environments, too, you could tell were generated in a studio. It just lacked that reality, that real touch that movies like The Revenant or The Grey had. Hell, there was one particular close-up of an item set on the ground in the grass, and I swear to God, it wasn't even real grass. It was like turf or like Christmas garland. A lot of this movie just felt fake and unauthentic. Even taking aside the CGI woes, the main villain of this movie, my God, easily the worst villain of the year. This dude was a frickin' cartoon. Yeah, you know where the gold is, don't you? You're just hogging it for yourself. Hell, there was a rival dog in this movie that was a better villain than that bozo. And on the note of the dogs, I do feel like there is an unnecessary amount of narration from Harrison Ford. You'd be watching dogs doing dog things, and then Harrison Ford would basically just chime in out of nowhere and just be like, this is what the dogs are thinking. There was enough visual storytelling elements present that we didn't need the Spark Notes version to explain what we were seeing. We could figure it out on our own. Sometimes it's better to not assume that your audience is comprised of complete morons. I mean, granted, this movie was made for kids, so kids are kind of dumb. I could kind of see it, but me as an adult, it bothered me, and it felt like it took me out of the moment. And on the smaller nitpicky side, I didn't appreciate a lot of the sound design in the movie. I felt like they recycled almost the same bark throughout the whole movie whenever Buck, the main dog, would bark. It was like the same sound effect, regurgitated over and over with no variance. I don't know, once you heard it once, you were just kind of like, that's the same one, that's the same one. Same one. A small thing, but next to everything else, it was just kind of the cherry on top. All in all, this was a good movie with a lot of heart, but if you take in all the small things combined with the big thing being the CGI, it kind of made it take a couple steps back. Yes, I suppose it probably could have been worse. It could have been a guy running around with a dog suit, pulling a Wilfred going on, yeah, but it was a hard thing to see past. I'm gonna give The Call of the Wild a B-. My college professor once told me regarding in film the small, trivial, minute visual elements that if the audience notices that, then you don't have a story. And I don't know if the filmmakers of this film just looked at the poor CGI throughout it from top to bottom as one of these small things, but it's a big thing and it did take away from the story a bit. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And make sure you're subscribed to this channel to stay up to date on new reviews coming real soon. Thanks for checking in.